Okay, and I'm clinking and I'm clanking. It's too much and I'm about to get hot. Hi, my name is Vanessa. I am a writer and I'm writing a novel in 2 years. So a little bit about me. I'm a TV writer. I've written for shows, like I've written on How to Get Away with Murder, I've written on The Sandman, Fate the Winx Saga, and I almost got this cyberpunk anime with Crunchyroll, and we went so far, but just like AI always does, it ruins everything. So now, as things get weird, I'm writing a novel. It's a literary horror novel, and I'm a part of this cohort in this program called Lighthouse Writers. Highly recommend you check it out. They have a bunch of courses, a bunch of classes. The teachers are phenomenal. But it's a really great resource, and they have this thing called the Book Project. It's a 2-year program where the goal is to get you to as far as a completed manuscript as possible. So yeah, it's a literary horror novel. It's told from 2 point of views. The main one is the point of view of the monster. It is dying, and to solve its death, it's going through the memories of the last person that it's eaten, essentially, to try to figure out, like, were you some kind of agent? Were you some kind of spy? Were you sent to destroy me? Like, let me see what this is about. And then in the meantime, we're learning about this person who was just consumed by the monster in their last days that they tried to escape. So here's the thing. I feel like today we're on week 6, 7. So this week was kind of hard. Last week was Hell Week, and that was just like dramatic and annoying. And this week I knew I was going to be playing catch up with getting work stuff done and with getting back on the horse with the novel. So we know we have our Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. designating novel writing times, right? And so I was super excited to kind of get back into it. I survived last week. I'm feeling a little bit better. I have a schedule. I'm gonna get my work stuff done. We got it. We did not have it, but it was really fruitful because I had that time set aside. I could reflect and spend 2 hours being horizontal and just lying and laying up at the sky and thinking about what the fuck is wrong with me, what's going on this week. So journaling has helped a lot. Remember week 2, I talked about how am I gonna survive being a writer in America. One of them was reading that book, How to Go Mad Without Losing Your Mind, on Black radical creativity, which I've been reading. And then the second one was journaling. And journaling really changed the game this week for me. And so I thought that I would today talk about the huge thing that I uncracked for myself today. On Monday, I couldn't do it. Like, I knew that it was gonna be rough this week because, you know, you can't just bounce back after a bad week. But I was prepared to sit and like get some writing done because I couldn't do it on Friday. I couldn't do shit. I literally laid in bed just I made a choice. I'm not gonna do shit. If I can't write during this time, then I can't do anything else. So even if I'm just like laying flat, that's fine. During that laying flat time and just giving myself time to think and stare off into the abyss, I thought about the prompt that our teacher had given us on Monday. Every single class, she gives us a prompt. She pulls like a card and it's like a prompt and you can take it or leave it. But that day's prompt was absence. And you can refer it to like an absence in your character's life, what information you're withholding from them, or it could extend to very real world practical stuff that's like what's missing from your writing practice. I learned that I am in desperate need to revamp my imagination and creativity practice. And what was missing out of my writing practice was that imagination practice. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. It's the art of imagination and creativity. I was trying to do a thing, but I'm hot as hell. Picture this, it was Monday at 7:30. I'm already miserable. I do my best. I make a plan. Today, I've outlined everything. I'm gonna just start cracking on these pages and let's just go. I am gonna sit and we're going to work. The first Pomodoro starts. I like scrabble some stuff down and then I die. That was just that's okay. We'll do the next one, and the next one I don't do shit. So now we have a real problem because now we're in hour 2 and we're not doing shit. So I decide let's journal before I go and put on fucking YouTube shorts or some shit. You see, I didn't say TikTok anymore. So I journaled what is absent in your writing life. I'm gonna read a little excerpt out of what I said. Writing for the industry has severely hurt my confidence in writing. All I do is squeeze, 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 squeeze. And I give all the good stuff, and I've given all of my good stuff for the past 10 years for survival. Survival to prove that I'm a good writer, to survival to prove that I can get on your show, survival to prove that you should give me that anime series. It's all about survival, and I've given my all to survival. That now, when it's time to sit down and write in some safety and do something for me, I can't do it. I've squeezed everything out. I've run dry. I have been nonstop for a decade, and I have not reevaluated my process and my relationship to it. Yeah, I don't know if it's still possible to do this, but I think I have to think about my imagination ritual. That was like my huge breakthrough of this week, which is we've thought about the scheduling and contextualizing writing a whole lot and like, why am I doing this? Should I do this? That is no longer the problem. What the issue is now is honestly rest and rebuilding. And I don't really have time to stop because I'm in this 2 years and I need to keep going. But it is something that I really severely need to work on right now because this week I felt it. I'm someone that is you can always learn craft, but you can't learn voice or soul. So I'm always someone that's very much like, I don't give a fuck, I'm right, whatever. Like I just kind of just give everything that comes out of me and then I adjust the craft later. But I just want to be like unstoppably me, so you know you're reading my shit when you pick up my shit without even having to see my name. That's like my whole thing. I do that by doing a few different things. I pull from my own experiences in my own life, which is like duh, but no, like I pull from very visceral experiences repeatedly because that's what I kind of know and I can really get into the meat of that stuff. So like family dynamics, brother and sister dynamics, feeling stagnated at like being somewhere that you can't escape from, stagnation, rot, like those are kind of the things that I pull from a whole lot. I pull from a particular type of inspiration, a lot of visual art, animation, movies, books, images, a lot of images. This glob monster that is in this book is actually inspired from the Plastic Beach album cover by Gorillaz because I was like, that thing looks nasty, and then somehow we've gotten glob monster. So images and things that I know kind of combine to become very distorted, weird, dark, creepy, very loud stories. And like I said, it's been great. It's gotten me very far. However, I've been so, like this industry, the TV industry in particular, is so hard, and you're supposed to like come so fresh and constantly improve that I'm always digging from that like well of like these same experiences, like, okay, I'm gonna do it from this side, and then I'm pulling from my small well of like inspirations, and like, you know, you're trying to learn and see more things, but you're also trying to create more things. And so I guess I just realized this week that I have officially kind of hit the wall as far as, you know, I'm kind of at the bottom of the well right now. But I've exhausted so many of the other things that I've written about in the past that I'm like, I don't want to write about that shit anymore, and I kind of am not ready to write about anything new quite yet because I want to live and like emotionally unpack things. Because I've also been in this like kind of survival-ish thing, I don't expose myself to new things all the time. It's like there's like a block that is just survival mode writing, you know, and it's just like, let's just churn, and I've kind of hit that wall. And luckily there's things that I can do to help fix it. I'm just sharing it because I think from this moment out, if I really dedicate myself to a new and improved imagination process, a new and improved creativity process, that's gonna greatly benefit this book. My journey with this new, improved, whatever we're gonna call it, imagination practice is in part thanks to this book. It's called Wonder Book, and I was recommended this book by a mentor. At one point, I was making a immersive story that, it doesn't matter. I got recommended this book. Who cares? So this book is like super, like it's very colorful, and it's not like a traditional book by design because it's about like the illustrated guide to creating imaginative fiction. So it's supposed to be very inspiring. So it's crazy. So I was like, let me just open it up and see what's going on. And the first page that I opened it up on is on this one. And I'm gonna like flip the camera, but just hear me out for now. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, this basically is inspiration, outputs, and it's this whole little illustrated section about what different parts of your life and what needs to come together in order to feel like that passion and that fire and like to cultivate that practice. And so I wrote down a few things that I am gonna start with for this little chapter and where we're gonna roll with. The biggest part of this book that really inspired me this week was the imaginative outputs, like what I have to give and do in order to receive back into me. And the first one that I was like, already not me getting read, is curiosity. Honestly, okay, so there's this movie that I've got recommended a few times, and I finally watched it, called Perfect Days. It's a Japanese movie, and it's kind of about this slightly annoying man who works as a toilet bowl cleaner, and he's very satisfied with kind of the small things in his this is like the most basic retelling of it, but he's going throughout his days. They're very, very repetitive, but each day has a tilt on it. Each day something new happens. The story is moved forward little by little just because he's like paying attention to his surroundings, and he's looking up, and he's aware, and he's in the moment. He don't even speak that much, which I'm guessing is by design. So this kind of reminded me of that thing of curiosity, which is like extreme openness. Nothing is more essential to a writer than sustaining an inquisitive nature, being actively interested in the world and the people in it. What am I wanting to explore? There is something that I want to explore with this novel, which is the epigenetics thing and being curious about how trauma, well, it's not necessarily like trauma is passed down like the way that people think it is. It seems like trauma can inform how your DNA and your cells work, which then you pass that down. But things like that, like curiosity, that I spend time just like reading and learning. I think, yeah, I read fiction books and I watch movies, but just genuine like, oh, here's a thread that I want to pull at for the fuck of it. I'm just gonna go pull at this thread. I don't do that as much anymore, and it's because a lot of the times that I'm researching for work, it's so tied into a job that's about pay. And so it's less about like, let me meander. It's kind of like, I need the answer to this so I can say the right thing, so I can write the right thing, so I can get paid. Curiosity in of itself is super interesting, because it's very simple, but I think as adults, you learn that the more you uncover, the worse that things can get. And so you kind of don't want to uncover anything else. You don't want to learn shit else, because everything that you do learn against your will is all very bad. And so the idea of going out and having your own autonomy and being curious on your own feels very scary. It feels pointless. All you want to do is like hide in your burrow hole and not be exposed to the elements. As a creator and a writer, as an artist, I think I have to be braver and have discipline to understand that me going down to the library and researching an innocuous thing, going down my little Wikipedia spirals, is a part of the job. So off of that, the next thing is the receptivity. If you're someone that reads a lot, do you feel like it's hard for you to read out loud because like what it sounds like in your head is not whatever? Receptivity is like, he's saying that it's about more than just information. It's about having access to people's emotions, predicaments, tragedies. It seems like having that full, well-rounded understanding of the human and inhuman experience, to put that into your art. And what's interesting is he's saying that social media is the biggest killer to this, of being receptive and taking things in and like abstracting them and, using that for later. He said that being available to social media 24/7 does not count as receptivity. It's just fragmentation. And fragmentation is like being put into like silos. It's not being open. It's just like you're put into the places that work for you. Essentially, it's like you're not open to other things and hearing other perspectives or even hearing a deeper version of things that you already believe in. You're just getting like little bits and pieces, probably in a bit of an echo chamber. And yeah, so you're not really getting a full receptive experience. And then he talks about passion, obsession. It's kind of like a deep fondness. It's like an obsession with your work. He said, if you're not passionate about what you write, if you don't care, no amount of effort can revive your work. And that is what hit me, because I was like, do I care about what I'm doing right now? It's not that I'm not passionate about it. It's that I'm not connected to the imaginative part of me that brings me passion. And then finally, the last thing is immediacy. And that's just kind of being like locked into what's going on around you. You're fully living in the moment. This is the don't look on your phone. Don't be listening to podcasts as you walk. Like kind of be immersed in everything that you're feeling. This is a good one for objective POV, but we're not here to talk about objective POV right now. So we're taking passion, immediacy, curiosity, and receptivity with the practice of discipline, making sure that you have a set amount of time that you come and you sit down and write, and endurance. Being able to take those hard knocks of no one's watching, no one's listening, and you keep that in perspective, but you still keep going. That is how we create inspiration. So from there, what do we do? Because we love a list. He gives a few really good examples that I will be using forward. He says, it's on page 18. He says, if you reward your imagination by writing down your ideas and exploring them, even the little fragment, your imagination will reward you with more or less continuous stream of ideas. And so his pitch is to write, like have a little small piece of pen and paper with you at all times. Whether you're sleeping, you're out, and when you think of these random things, duck with a top hat and roller skates, you write them down. When you're out and you see something, I'm saying you, but I'm talking to myself. I go to a coffee shop very often, and there's a bunch of like random people watching that I get to do, and they always bring their dogs, and their dogs are always kind of weird and like quirky and like sweaters and shit. Like, does any of that spark any thought? And it doesn't even seem like it's an intentional, like me being like, it's just kind of like the things that come up when you're thinking. I'm just acknowledging ideas as they come and things that I'm interested in and curious about as they come, instead of just being like, okay. They're lost to the abyss forever and I don't fucking remember them. So I'm just like rewarding the thoughts that may or may not be useful with attention. And so my brain can later say, okay, well, if you like that, look, I got other shit that I can give you. I think I really vibe with that, like writing the shit down kind of thing. He says direct embedding of something from the subconscious into narrative is one thing, but most of the time your subconscious provides just the prompt or the beginning and then expects the writer to fill out the implications. He wrote Annihilation, and he said it inspired by a dream. And so I guess he woke up from that and wrote some notes and went writing. This is the most important part. He says, in a sense, my subconscious mind was handing off the idea to my conscious mind. Or you can say that my conscious mind had told my subconscious, no, don't tell me anything more. I'll take it from here. And my subconscious was trusting that I wouldn't balk from following up, no matter how strange the context. And I think that ties back to like, being able to acknowledge the thing that makes you curious, writing things down as they come, and acknowledging the little thoughts in your mind of pieces of things that you want to think about later. Your subconscious kind of rewarding you with more images and thoughts because it knows that your writer mind, your conscious mind is going to take over and do something with it. So another thing that he talks about later on is putting yourself essentially in places and surrounding yourself with things that will encourage these images and thoughts to come up. I think it's putting yourself in the real world, being curious and receptive to the immediacy around you, so your mind can take what you're seeing and come up with something cool. So like if you go to a cool library or you're in the gardens, instead of just looking down at your phone or not, drowning out your senses with a podcast or music, you're kind of locked into what the fuck is actually going around you, so your body can pick up all those senses, because you never know which part of the senses is going to inspire the thing in your subconscious mind to think. Like it could be the smell, it could be a sound of the beat, it could be sound of an argument, but that means you have to kind of be fully present in that space and time, which is very difficult. But there's something to making it a practice to going to the places that you know or you think will inspire you, like giving yourself a little like artist persona. Like are you trying to write something that's like super, like this is about a doctor, this is super academic? Are you kind of going into that, now I'm going to get into my dark academia bag and go study, I don't know, Grey's Anatomy? Like, I don't know what the fuck. But you know what I mean? It's like making it into a thing. You're not just going because like, oh, I should go to the library and check out these books, or like I should go listen to the orchestra because it's good. You should go because you are feeding the whatever a writer version of you wants to explore these things. I'm just kind of looking at it as like the me that's a writer is a persona, and then the me that just wants to lay and do jack shit is a whole different situation. So just making sure that I'm feeding the me that's a writer and kind of giving it an edge and a vibe, and like, who am I and what do I want to see? And this is just really important. And then when I'm in these spaces, making sure that I'm like present and I'm thinking, and if anything comes up, I'm writing it down. So this week I did a few outside activities, and when I did my outside activities, not always successfully, I tried really hard to make sure that I was somewhat very, very present. I have a very bad habit of like kind of drifting out of IRL, what's happening right here and now, and thinking about the future, thinking about what I didn't do, what I should do. Like I'm very rarely in the present. So this week it was about when I was out and about, how present could I stay, and like what are the things that popped out in those moments. And for me, I noticed a lot of it was about like sound and lighting. The last thing he said was, how can you position yourself to dream well? And that's still what I'm trying to figure out. But I know there are some things that are true that help me dream well. I know that I like to eat. I know that I like to read. I know I like to watch horror movies, but it has to be on my phone. I can't really see that well, and so I love watching movies on my phone in bed, because now I can actually see what the fuck is going on. I like the movie theaters too, but like if I'm gonna be at home, I really don't want to watch it on TV. I want to watch it on my phone. Maybe I'm an iPad kid, I don't know. I try to read every morning. I don't always do it, but I try to read every single morning. Love yoga. That's really really helpful. Even though I fucking hate sometimes like rolling out the mat, it's like, bro, like what the fuck, why am I doing this shit? It does just like open up my body. It just helps. It helps so much. Exercising, which I also hate, but it's going out, dancing, going out in general, which I also hate, but I also love. All these things I'm saying that I hate, it's because I hate the idea of them, but I hate not doing them even more. But like going out and dancing, I get my best daydreaming time when I go to a goth party. There's something about industrial music in particular that like puts me, I'm solving world hunger when I go to goth parties, and I'm not even joking. Like there was this club that me and my friend used to go to before it shut down, and it was very rarely very packed, because whatever, it was like Sunday nights, and Sunday nights are kind of hard, but we would like kind of have our spot, which is kind of like an elevated platform in the club, and we would just dance the whole time, and I would just like look down on the sea of people dancing while I dance with my sunglasses on, and then I would just be thinking the whole time, like, yeah, like I wonder if we dealt with the oil spill that happened when I was in high school. Like, what are we gonna do about the music and like repetitive music is like my thing. I like going to like a regular party too. Like that's fun, just like to hear music. But when it comes like to what I'm actually inspired by and like what brings my inspiration to life, it's the goth clubs. In particular, there's a lot of goth music, and some people don't count this as like goth music, but it's like the industrial goth music, really heavy bass, really steady beats. It kind of gives me a way to kind of be moving my body. Maybe it's like a moving meditation, like walking is for some people. It forces me to move my body, but it's so repetitive that I don't have to like be focused, and then I wander, and then I think. I have written scenes at parties, like that's the kind of vibe that I like. So should I keep going? Should I go out tonight? No, I'm not gonna go out tonight. But also, I don't have it with me, but handwriting has become my thing. There's something about letting myself write by hand and letting my brain catch up to my hand, or letting my hand catch up to my brain, versus like when you're typing, your hands are moving so fast that your brain is like, damn, I don't know what to say next. Let's just go and shop. It's weirdly like not the same amount of pressure that I think sometimes you're opening up your laptop, it's like, you know, you're working. But writing by hand, it's like kind of secret. To me, it's associated with journaling, and so it's kind of like it's not that big of a deal. Like no one's gonna see this. Like you're not wasting battery. You can write a couple lines and be done. Like all of that. So that's kind of where I'm at after this week. I think that's enough for this week. It was imagination, and again, I highly recommend this book. It's the Wonder Book. There's also craft stuff that kind of comes after the imagination part. I just thought that it was super interesting and helpful that on Monday, when I was crashing and burning and not knowing what to write about and realizing that I was feeling very uninspired and just dead inside, that this book is hitting where it's hitting right now. So yeah, until then, I don't know, put on a top hat or something and like, I don't fucking know, do your nails. All right, bye.